All right, so welcome to Artcasters, and I'm used to like being able to see which Artcasters we're at. Scott, do you remember the number? It's 281, right?
81, yeah.
Which is a lot. We have a special guest, but we also, you might notice, look a little different. This is going to be our first time streaming directly through OBS. Using a totally different streaming platform, thanks to the help of our old co-host, Corey Kerr, who's a digital wizard. He's helped us kind of get set up through Video Ninja, and so we're using that mixed with OBS, all free platforms, which is kind of exciting, and directly coming to you. So let us know how it goes. And also, I have like a, let's see, other things. There's a goal set in the chats. So if you guys do super chat, we will ask David basically anything. If you don't super chat, we'll still do the same thing. We'll still probably ask him whatever you want to ask. Well, as long as it's TOS safe, I made sure to say that. So like, what are your thoughts on? And it'll just be the most contentious issue in the world. So. Before we kind of get into it, as usual, let's just kind of make the rounds, and we're gonna. Oh, nice. Keeman says, "Love the new look." Dylan does too. I love it. And by the way, design all by Scott Cirkland, which is brilliant design. So, all right, Scott, where can people find you and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, so you can find me. Basically, you can get the portal you want to go to. Go to circleworks.com. That will also take you to my online store where you can find my comic book Young and the Dead. It's a kids versus zombie adventure story. I've got wax pack trading cards on there that you won't find anywhere else that I custom make. I've got all kinds of cool stuff that are. The website also has a link to my Patreon. It also has a link to my YouTube channel. The only other thing I think I want to promote coming up, I believe the 20th. Batman Day at your local comic book store. If you happen to be in Surprise, or if you happen to be in Arizona, make a trip out to Surprise. You can meet me. I'll be at Surprise Comics signing an exclusive print, and it looks sort of. A little bit. Looks sort of like this, so it'll have the Surprise Comics branding, and it won't be quite as big. It'll be like 11 by 17. But I'll be signing those sketches and everything. So come by on Batman Day, the 20th of this month. So that's where I'll be there. Saturday.
Awesome. That makes me super excited. Somebody is mentioning they're hearing echoes. Where are you hearing echoes, Keeman? Is it just specifically with Scott? I don't know. We'll kind of roll with it as best we can.
Yeah, that's weird. I'm not getting it.
Dylan was saying, I think we need Jim. I'm not hearing echoes on my end, so I think.
Is anyone else hearing echoes? Anyone else watching? Huh. Dylan's getting it. Okay. Scott. Okay, Gary.
Make sure there's no extra audio.
I've got my YouTube muted, but I'm gonna turn it off. You tell me if this does anything. Okay, can you?
Oh, you know what? I think that was the setting on my end. Try it again, Scott.
I just turned off the YouTube, so I don't know if it's me but I had it muted, so.
Okay, is that better, guys? Jim's in the chats. Jim, let us know. Scott, talk again one more time.
Okay. Yeah. Can you guys hear me? Do you hear an echo when I speak? I'm going to.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
No?
Okay. Gary said. Okay. So that was my bad setting.
Okay.
I don't know why, but for some reason it it's the screen capture that I have for David also just started putting audio for the other window, which is really weird, but I just muted it. So that is my unprofessionalism. Thank you guys in chats. You guys are our best teammates for letting us know.
This is an all new.
Why don't we redo
setup,
that, Scott? I'm so sorry, David. I swear we're professionals. So Scott, why don't you kind of run through that one more time? Because I was hearing about Batman and a lot of cool stuff, and I think the chat might have missed it.
Okay, real quick. So just go to my website, circworks.com. That will take you to my Patreon. It'll take you to my online store. You can find my comic book, Young and the Dead, Kids vs. Zombie Adventure Story. Take you to online store and my YouTube channel. The other thing is on the 20th of this month, Saturday, I believe, I will be at Surprise Comics in Surprise, Arizona. I will be signing. It's Batman Day, so I'll be there, doing sketch covers and signing a print that looks sort of like this. But it'll be a little smaller and it'll have the Surprise Comics branding on it. It'll be 11 by 17. But yeah, so I'll be there with an exclusive print and just drawing whatever you guys want me to draw. So
that's absolutely exciting. I can't wait to see how that kind of goes. But I will say, if I were there, I'd be asking for like Eartha Kitt drawings. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, yeah.
If we're doing Batman, all right.
Or Julie Newmar or any of the Catwoman.
All right. So that's true. All those Catwomen were beautiful. So if you guys haven't yet, you want to hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get notifications when we're about to go live and all that fun stuff. This is my channel, so that's a good reason to do it. And then if you like independent comics, like a comic about faith and mental illness, check out Two Stories. If you like a comic that's similar to if you put Ghost World in a blender with Eternal Sunshine for the Spotless Mind, a story about two young loves that are basically haunted by their childhood pasts, and pretty much like a doomed romance story. Check out Jacob's Apartment. And then I believe that it's still up for pre-order is Not Death But Love, the strange supernatural story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning, which is for release in September. So because I was a little late on the art, so we pushed. Thank goodness my amazing publisher was okay with pushing it to September. So it will be a beautiful book, no compromises on the art, and you should check that out. Now let's introduce our amazing guest who's got a Kickstarter up. I have a view of the Kickstarter right below me. We'll probably be like scrolling through that and taking a peek as we get into it, but a really banger of a Kickstarter. Returning guest, director, animator, cartoonist, just kind of all around art guy, David Hartman. David,
hey,
where can people find you? Where should they go?
Well, you can, Instagram is where I post the most, which is at David Hartman Art, but you can also go to my website, sideshowmonkey.com. And between those two places, you'll probably get the most updated stuff. Of course, the usual Facebook, all that stuff, and now Kickstarter. So I've been doing regular updates on that as well.
Yeah, and the Kickstarter looks amazing, David. You guys should check it out. It's Monster Drive-In. There's a link down below. I'm gonna just scroll through it real quick before we kind of get too heavy into the topic. So Monster Drive-In, Isle of Evil, right?
Yep.
You have just a graphic novel that's a long lost cult horror movie. It's I think the first of what will be a whole series.
Hopefully a whole
and this
series.
one's called Isle of Evil. I love it. It looks amazing. I don't know, David, why don't you real quick just let people know what Isle of Evil is, so that while we're talking they can kind of back
Monster Drive-In. The whole idea of Monster Drive-In was taking movie scripts I have written or ideas I had for like kind of camp movies, I guess you could call them. I have like a huge collection and love for what people call B movies. To me, those are the A-grade movies, but I love Grindhouse films and, everything from the 50s all the way up to even now. And, I had these script ideas and thought I'd throw them all under one banner, which is Monster Drive-In. And the first one is Isle of Evil, which is basically kind of jungle horror, mad science. There's stitched together monsters. There's headless guys running around. There's voodoo. It's got a little bit of everything that I love from like 80s films. And if I had made an 80s film, I know my writing is not Shakespeare, so this is like going right for what I love, which is just kind of campy, schlocky dialogue, a lot of gore, and it's just a little over the top stuff that I love. So this first one kind of has the taster's choice. I would say it's like got a little bit of everything in the first one, and then I have a lineup of 5 other books after this that are 2 of them are already written. The others are kind of laid out. So I'm just
the other one you're starting tomorrow, and it'll be done.
I'm already into it.
I'm just saying, but it'll be done next week as fast as you will.
Jim Lujan said David Hartman is too incredible of an artist to be one man alone. I'm convinced it's a collective of people. The David Hartman.
Thank you, Jim. Well, this book was one I've actually shown on here on your channel, I think, a couple times.
Yes, you've shown us a lot of the ad parodies too. I've been so excited about this book.
Yeah,
I forgot. Kind of one of my favorite I backed it, so I'm getting it. So I definitely want to see all that stuff.
Yeah, the second you mentioned this was coming out, I've just been like eagerly, I think, behind the scenes, and then also like on a lot of Artcasters episodes, we've kind of seen pages being made, and again, like.
And I actually have it here. So I proofed it. So the good thing is before I started doing Kickstarter I'm one of these guys, I want to have it done before I talk about it, because if I don't finish it, then, I'll never try to crowdfund or sell it. So I actually have the proof of the book. And just for your audience, I'll go to one of the, find one of the good ads. It's like I got all these breaks. This is my favorite, I think, which is the 35.
I love it. I love that one.
Figure, which is
it's so good.
You can use his emaciated arm, or one of my favorite here. What is this? See through his only working eye. Remember the old $6 million man toy, and it was always the one eye, and it was just blurry. So here, this is like it's blurry vision. See it just like how Captain Mortimer sees. And then over here
that's the hardcover that you're showing, right? That I'm so excited about that. There's
a softback as well too. So same paper quality, same color. Oh, there was a fun one too. Sorry, I'm scattered.
I'm just so excited about.
I'm just all over the place. I get excited about this, but there's like 100-piece Abomination set.
Yes.
Each one comes with its very own face. Just stupid stuff. But as of right now,
it's so fun.
It's like this one's like 100 and some pages, 100 some plus pages, and it's got a horror host that kind of interrupts with little information at each kind of commercial break, and then has the commercial breaks are actually old comic book ad parodies. So
it's like an anthology too, or is it 2 stories?
Not really. It's one story. It's just one big story, but it's almost like has commercial breaks in it. Where
that's cool. So I guess it's more like like a Svengali or something.
Yeah.
Where it's one movie. Yeah, that's cool.
Exactly, Joe Bob Briggs type. That's
kind of like
their
Svengoolie. I meant not Svengali.
Yeah. I love it because there was a show back in the day that aired out here, and I don't know if it aired in a lot of LA County or whatever, but it's one of those like late night B movie, kind of shows with like puppets and like, all these, the set kind of looked like your studio, David, and like, and it was called like Monster Piece Theater or something to that effect. Great. I can't remember. But the gist of it was like they'd show these cool old horror movies, and then you would have like the host kind of come back and talk over it. So I almost love that too, because it's like you're kind of mixing that in there, so you're getting the vibe of like a late night seeing a cable access TV show, like showing
characters.
That's beautiful.
The characters in the book are played by actors, so it has the actors' names. I got an end credits at the end of who played who, and it's just, again, it's just kind of the cheesy stuff I love, but I never actually meant to actually make a book to do crowdfunding or anything. This was actually just fun for me to draw while I'm in between other comic projects. And you know,
Yeah.
I keep going back to this kind of stuff because it's like, this is what I really love. Like when I'm drawing my other comics, I'm watching old movies, you know, on the couch while I'm drawing, you know, and I was just kind of like, why aren't I just doing those kind of stories? Because that's what I love. So, you know, might as well try it and have fun doing it. And, you know, I tried to put everything into this. So it really is a passion project. But I'm so glad it's doing well because now I got at least 4 or 5 more that I want to try and get done.
That's exciting. And I love the idea of that as a series too, because it's open enough to where you can have a lot of creative freedom with each, you know, issue, but still focused enough on the kind of things that you love, to where, you know, you could keep rocking them.
I had an ad.
Okay, so our topic is like kind of, oh, perfect.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was going to show you. This was off of, if you guys remember, I do the Monster Ween thing too. There was one I absolutely fell in love with that I did. I wrote a story for it. And I don't know if it'll be the next book, but it will be one of the future books, which is The Hunchback of Naughty Dames, which is like film noir, eldritch horror, cosmic horror with a gumshoe, Quasimodo, fighting monsters. Again, my stuff doesn't go real deep there, but it's the stuff I love.
Oh, I love it so much. I'm kind of curious, like, can we kind of like, let's talk about kind of what it is about B movies that you're both like exploring in this work. And then also, like, I guess maybe starting by like, how'd you get into B movies?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of tough. I mean, to me, I don't even really call them B movies. That's kind of just the nice category for it. To me, they're movies.
Yeah.
And the thing that maybe it's taken me years to understand why I even like this stuff. And again, you know, some of it's fun, Mystery Science Theater 3000, like where you make fun of certain things in the dialogue. But to be honest, for me, it's like the passion that was used to create that. Like after getting to make, you know, Phantasm and getting to make a film, you see how much of that encompasses your life, your day to day, every waking thought is around that project. And then, you know, you think about that with every movie. So you think about these movies you're laughing at. It's like, but every single person, you know, probably every person on the crew like was passionate about what they were doing, right? And we're putting their all. Now there's some, I'm sure they just do it for the money and all that stuff, but there's still a passion to the monster movies, you know, making a creature, making a practical monster that's not CGI. And I have realized I really love the flaws in things. And maybe this is, gets into AI and all this other stuff, but I really love human flaws in their work because you can see how filmmakers, artists, all that grow with their stuff, but it's also relatable where it's like, oh, I make those kind of mistakes too, and makes you, you know, want to try harder. And I just really, that pushes me towards those movies. Then you throw in, you know, half naked chicks, jungle horror stuff, zombies, monsters, all this other stuff. And it just gets so exploitive. I don't know. It just, I love it. Maybe it's because it was taboo, you know, when you're a little kid and stuff. But
yeah,
I catch myself. It's like, and this is the old guy in me. This is where all the gray hairs talking, which is, I watch newer movies and they're so slick. And then I watch guys on YouTube, you know, who do the same lighting for their vlog setup that I'm seeing in a movie. I kind of just catch myself just going back to these older movies that I love, and I'm still searching for those hidden gems you didn't even know existed. And then, you know, somebody puts them out. And there's the collector's side of it, but there's also just, again, the love for the passion that went into that. And I love the seriousness of it, not knowing that they're a joke, you know, to some people. It's like, they put their all into it. This is the dialogue they wanted, and maybe they had the shortcomings of a low budget, but the idea is big, right? And I don't know. I just really get a kick out of that kind of stuff.
No, I think, because I've tried to kind of put my finger on why I love B movies too, and I do think that's the factor, is like the big factor, whether I'm gonna like it or not, is like how sincere it is,
right?
Because it's like, if it's like not sincere, it doesn't feel like quite the same.
Exactly.
Yeah, but like that passion, and then that mixed with like the cool content, is like is and the flaws, you're right, are like kind of, I think, the charm of that genre. Speaking of, I think Dylan said, have you seen the movie Onks, the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls? He's saying, I think you'd like it.
I have not, but I will look that up.
Yeah, I haven't seen his movie, but that was a YouTube short initially. It's like a guy who pretends that he's like a Satanist at a Wendy's, like who works at a Wendy's. And it's like, and so he's like getting interviewed by like a local news channel about getting held up at a Wendy's or something. and he just plays this character, Onks the Fortuitous. And awesome. And then he did a whole bunch of bits, but he ended up producing a film. I never got to see it, but yeah.
All right.
I think it does sound like your cup of tea. Jim wanted to know whether you were a Mad magazine kid, and did you have a favorite Mad artist?
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
gotta be Jack Davis.
Yes, it's Jack Davis, but I also Kurtzman and Will Elder were big influences on my stuff, and of course Wally Wood. But all those EC guys, Graham Ingles, too. Like, I grew up, and I'm sure I've told this story on here a million times. I'll keep it short, but my parents, we would go to flea markets and they would buy me boxes of comics. I was so fortunate that my parents were into collecting and stuff as well, so they knew the value of potentially of comics, and they'd buy me like a big white long box for $20, at a flea market. Somebody not knowing what they have in there, and this is probably bad for a guy that makes comics, but I would skip over the Spider-Mans and Captain Americas, but then I'd see like House of Secrets and all that, and it would blow my mind. Like, I love the horror stuff, but then Mad Magazine, Crazy Magazine, Crack Magazine, those were always like shoved in the long boxes. They're magazine format. Mm-hmm. They're all folded to fit into the long box. Where
they'd
like,
sometimes even fold the edge. Yeah.
And man, I just like, those blew my mind, because again, it the parody of it, which is probably like what I'm doing with these ads, and where it came from. But yeah, all those guys. Jack Davis, obviously a huge influence with his kind of cartooning, but it's done seriously, which I like. It's like I do cartoony stuff, and that comes from storyboarding and all that, but also I try to keep it serious, even though it's a little tongue-in-cheek looking.
Yeah, I love that. I see a little bit of Kurtzman in your line quality too.
Yeah.
It's like Two-Fisted Tales kind of vibes, you know. So I think this is a really good example of like, a lot of artists, when they're trying to come up with like their first comic or something like that, right?
Yeah.
They're hit with that like blank page thing, and it's like, I think what you're doing is like a really good example of like what all artists should be doing, which is just like find the things you love and then make a thing that's filled with just everything you love. And you know what I mean? Because it's going to naturally be authentic. Like the fact that, these ads that you put all this time and love into, and they're so authentic to the ones.
I spend more time on the ads than the actual comic pages, because there's so much detail, and then there's so much text, because I wrote everything in these ads too. It's it's pretty funny as well, just crazy stuff. But yeah,
I love that, because it's like you couldn't really do that kind of a almost parody but very sincere take on it, because unless you have like a real love for those ads, you know.
Right.
And they look so true. That's the body copy. It sounds like, you
Right.
know, yeah, like I could see those next to the ad for the atomic sub, you know. Like and it's like I just I think that that's a really good approach to like kind of you know, launching your solo stuff. Like I mean, obviously you've been doing comics for a long time, but if anyone's out there like hitting a blank page, just ask yourself what you love, you know. And
Yeah, and really how this started, I mean, you know, I've shown you guys this, I think I mean, definitely over a year ago where I had started. And I really had started this out of the pandemic, because when the pandemic hit, you know, we're all working from home or not working, right? And I was doing I just started doing comics. And for this, I just really just started drawing some characters like, oh, that'd be fun to do a story with these. So I honestly, the wrong way, the absolute wrong way to write a comic, and I don't recommend it to anyone, which is just jump in. I had no idea how it was going to end, where it was going to go, even what it was. I just started drawing the things I like based off what, you know, I knew I kind of wanted to see out of a movie. So it was almost like the comic pages were thumbnails for a script or a bigger idea. And I just kept adding to it. Then after I got to like page 8 or 9, I was like, oh, I think I might actually got something here where I know I could actually devote many hours of my life to finishing this, right? Like we've all had a million projects we start and then lose, you know, speed partway through, or lose interest in our own thing because it gets too big for us, or it naturally goes out of your wheelhouse or whatever. So this, I felt like, oh, this is exactly what I want. Then I sat down, wrote the script, figured it out, went back, redid pages, threw old pages out, you know, but at least then I knew what I was getting into. And maybe that was the best way for me to do it, because I feel like if I had written the script and just jumped in, I'd hate page 1, right? Like I'd be like, I hate this. Let me draw it again. Let me draw it again. And then I would psych myself out probably. You know, because I'm doing this while I'm doing other projects and stuff. So it was kind of like, do I want to spend the time on this when I know I should be doing this other job and all that kind of stuff? So but once I found myself getting excited, right, like I couldn't wait to get to the next page, or you know, and I do that with my family. Like I won't show them what I'm working on because I want to finish that page, then reveal it, and then make, you know, they would get together and we'd read the pages out loud and they'd have fun. They love reading the ads and just reading them out loud, you know, cheesy voices and stuff. So
it's so great.
Yeah, it's really good having that support around you too, you know. And I know I'm rambling and scatterbrained here, but again, it's that passion that's in those movies. That's kind of how I'm feeling about this book. And it's just like, I'm so excited to share it with people. Even again, I'm not breaking ground with some groundbreaking story or anything. This is, you know, kind of derivative.
Don't sell yourself short.
Films. Yeah, but it's, you know, it is what it's saying it is, which is a Grindhouse film, and what I would have liked to see and what I'd love to make, you know. Something I would have loved to have filmed and made, and that's kind of what all of these are.
I completely get that too, and I think that like when you're working on creative projects that are like kind of completely your own, right, the thing you want to see, it can be like that a lot of, like, some of the time where you're like, is this a wise like investment of my time, you know? Like there's all that second guessing, because it's like, especially when you're a professional artist, because it's like you could be doing paid work during that time, and it's like, whew, I'm taking a hit to the account, you know, to make this thing. But there is that beauty of it once you kind of get rolling, where you're like, wow, all I want to do is this is this thing.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's great when you have passion projects like that. And again, it's cool to see the Kickstarter kind of popping off and getting support, because that's how things like that continue to get made. So like, if people are watching,
so thankful to everyone who's contributed, honestly, like, because I thought this was just something only I'm gonna love, right? Like I have my circle of friends who love this kind of stuff, who will support me, and I'll support them, and all that. But you know, I feel like my stuff that I draw, my monsters and stuff, it's kind of a niche of a niche, you know, kind of area that, you know, within art. And it was kind of like, oh, I'm afraid no one's going to be into this. And so being able to see, like, we hit our goal like on day one, which was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
That's the dream. Anything after that. But what's exciting for me out of this whole campaign is I've done so many extras and add-ons that to me are just so fun that I'm so happy stretch goals are getting unlocked. So I have one I'm going to show. This is me doing my sales pitch, my used car sales.
It's cool. I'll scroll down to the stretch goals while you're getting that out too.
Yeah, so I have,
so people can see
this one. This is a temp. It's not the final art, but it's like a brochure.
Nice.
So the main character, he's this guy named Captain Pickles. And Captain Pickles, that's his real name. It's not meant to be a silly name, but I knew somebody whose last name was Pickles. It's a real name. So Captain Pickles is taking these 3 college girls to a beach party on this island that has been shut down by the government or whatever. And there's 2 feuding scientists waging a war with using voodoo and science. And it's just completely nuts. And they get caught up into it. Well, this was the brochure for Captain Pickles boat tours. So it has a history on the island. So I give a little back history of the island and the government's interest in the island. Then the other side will be like a map with some key areas within the world. And then I'm doing, I think I had more art prints. We had just unlocked, you know, like a sticker. I'm doing like a sticker of the host for the Monster Drive-In. So everybody gets that in their order. But my big one I was really hoping for, which was 10K, and I'm so happy we got it because I spent a lot of work on it, which is a soundtrack. So I did a full, with my alter ego Zorgon, which is electronic and stuff. I tried to make this it's very different in that it's very cinematic and orchestral. And I made like a whole soundtrack for the book. And
so good.
And I'll say here, I haven't announced it yet, but like the first single will be, I mean, it's going to be on digital, so everyone can listen to it. It's not, the campaign unlocked it, but it's going to be out there for everyone to hear on streaming, whether it's Spotify or Apple Music or whatever you use. So the first title song is going to be released on the 15th of this month. So 4 days. It's supposed to, at least that's what I've been told. So that'll be out in 4 days. And then the entire album will be released on October 6th. And just like the book, it's done. The music's done. It's mixed. It's mastered. Everything's ready to go. The artwork's done. I just need to get things produced. So that's how the book is too. The book's completely written. All the work is done. So there's no risk.
Yeah, even proofed. You know, so like the proof exists. So this book, I need the proof for
me. I need the proof for me that it's going to work and look good before I try to sell it, you know, to the world. I needed to know that, you know, it worked all right, and show some friends and get their opinions, and then, you know, make my little adjustments and stuff. And
it's perfect.
Yeah. You got the soundtrack up there, so I'm excited about that one because
I'm excited. I love the where you're gonna have the top of the CD look like a record too. So it's
because you know the CD sleeves. You usually put the CD in the top, but I'm having them do it on through the side, so it's like a little LP. I want to get like an American Girl doll or something and have her holding it because I think it's like American Girl doll scale. A CD to look like an LP, right? But
that's so great,
and that's just kind of the vibe, you know, and the fun of all of this. So. And I got
guys,
more stretch goal fun things that I'm not going to announce yet, but we got more craziness if it gets the support.
Yeah, I mean the next one I'm seeing is the paper cutout mask.
And
I know this will be awesome because that just reminds me of the OG. I think when I was like 5 or 6, I dressed as Casper the Friendly Ghost with one of those cutout,
Ben Cooper.
paper
and
masks.
it's very reminiscent of Scott, where he did his Denny menus, right? Like,
Yeah.
You know, I grew up with those too. So this is just a print, but it's gonna have a monster, but it's gonna be
so good.
in everybody's order. They get one, and then I might have some additional ones too. So no extra cost if we hit the 13K, then that'll just be automatically in everyone's order. So
okay, so there's something I want to hop in on, which is when I look at this and your design aesthetic and like your color and like the raw textures and stuff in the art, all of it like screams everything I kind of love about B movies. Like particularly, it kind of reminds me of a lot of B movie posters, right? And for me, that packaging in the posters of like horror movies is one of the things that like got me into them and obsessed with them, because the type was so just like
in your face,
awesome and and over the top, you know. But you even have kind of the off register, a little bit of a vibe of that, and it's so I was gonna say, like, what kind of thinking are you putting into the approach to your color palette? Because it's very like a lot of reds and yellowy tones.
It's kind of, you know, am thinking that through a little bit, where it is like old film, right, which always goes into the magentas and the oranges and yellows a little more. Like you look at like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and those kind of films that had a lot of that kind of magentas and oranges in there. And you know, I kind of put that with a muted palette, but at the same time, my normal art is very colorful and very garish and straight out of the crayon box. I say, you know, the brightest red, the brightest orange that I can have. So it's somewhere in between. I feel like it's mixed like that.
Yeah.
But the book itself, you know, I did have like heavy paper grain and stuff in it. And I actually removed it because I had a proof before this proof and I felt it was too heavy. So I doubt you guys will even be able to see this detail. Once it but there's actual newsprint and grain in the gutters and everything, so everything is like that. So the ads themselves got stains on them and stuff. I just like that vibe, but I like the feel of the new paper better than newsprint. But plus, I want the archivalness of a newer book, right? So where it doesn't age the same. But that is part of the aesthetic. The cover itself, I was worried, like in the photos, because I had some photos on there, and the edges kind of look beat up, and that's because I actually painted the beat up edges in the book. I mean, really, what I should have done is just taken every book I'm selling and just bang it against some rocks, but people want it mint, so the damage is painted in there. But I was afraid the photos, people be like, oh, this is like crappy quality, it's all damaged.
No, I think I mean, I think like that perfectly sums up like the audience, though, because it's like anybody who's going to be drawn to backing this is hopefully going to get that it's an old, you know, it's like that the old pulpy book you're finding, you know, in the used bookstore, where you're like, what is this? This is awesome. Or it's like, you know, that old VHS tape in the corner of the, you know, I just think it's got that kind of aesthetic. So I love that it has that texture and stuff to it.
I just always love that. I remember, do you guys remember Art Adams did the creature features, where he did a Creature from Black Lagoon adaptation, you know? And I remember, I just remember, you know, when I was a kid or whatever, I'm just driving all over town trying to find it because it was sold out everywhere, you know, and you find that one little comic shop that had just so happened to have one on the shelf because nobody knew what it was. And, you know, I had to drive an hour and a half from home to find it. And just because I loved the Creature from Black Lagoon and the monsters and the adaptation. And that's kind of the same, again, the same kind of vibe I'm trying to go for in this, just the, you know, the fun of those kind of movies and the creatures. And I just love that again, the B movie aspect of, again, the passion. But again, it's off the wall. It's not necessarily mainstream stuff. Some stuff is silly, you know, and but I don't care. I like that out of the box kind of out of the mainstream.
I do too. I mean, I'm absolutely in love with the fact that Captain Pickles is like wearing a captain's outfit through like almost every second I see, and I love that because that's very like that's a very like big nod to like B movies, you know, where it's like, okay, we got this one costume, guys, and it's but it's just so so fun and like the color palette, just kind of feels very very much good for that. Drink the Paint Water wanted to ask you, are you doing Monster Ween again this year, or will the Kickstarter kind of understandably be eclipsing that?
No, I am still doing it. I am late on getting my names together. I have a bunch of titles ready. So here's my schedule from here on, because I'm got to prepare. So I'm seeing this Kickstarter through. The book's already done. I got the printer lined up. So once that stuff goes, I'm just gonna be working on a lot of the add-ons, which also is original art. So I'm doing sketch cards, but I'm also doing like 9x12 monster heads and stuff. So I will have some of those to work on, but I'll be doing Monster Ween while I'm doing that. I'm in between jobs right now. I just finished directing on another project. So I'm like, okay, now I can focus. So Monster Ween, but September 30th is when the Kickstarter ends. And that same day is, I have another book coming out. That's going to be in comic shops and stores called Kraken that I did with Titan Comics and Monster Forge. Let me see. I got a proof of that too. Sell my wares. So this one's called Kraken, like a 1930s, very Indiana Jones, Tales from the Gold Monkey, but a very Cthulhu-esque, as you can kind of see. There's monsters, shooting guns, lots of action in this. So this is going to be in comic shops. In the comic shop, we actually got Mike Mignola did a cover for us, which is
so cool.
Freaking amazing, you know, just that he did that, and the generosity to do that. So thank you, Mr. Mignola, for doing a cover. This is mine. This will be the standard version, but it's up. Random House and Penguin is putting some out, so I know it will be at Barnes and Noble and Amazon and all the usual.
Yeah.
So that's September 30th, and then we go into Monster Week.
That's so great. I just love the fact, David, that you are constantly like working on creative projects, like, and I think that's a good approach too, because it's like, you know, like a lot of the time when we are working on like professional like art and stuff, you're kind of aching for that time to work on your own stuff. So when that time presents itself, I think that is kind of, I don't know, it feels like that's kind of the vibe of the way to kind of do it, is like use those windows to like create your script to shop around, or, you know, like, so it's just, if you really exciting.
You'll find time for it. Right. And and again, it's like, it always sounds like I'm doing a lot, but really it's like this book, I spent a couple years on it. It's just, everything comes out at once with me. So it's like, boom, here's everything. It's Halloween time. Here's all my stuff. Then I'll disappear for the rest of the year. You don't hear from me in February. That's when I'm out making stuff, But again, like we've talked 100 times, it's comics, it's TV, it's music. So it's just really whatever kind of fits your fancy at the time, right? Like, once I had this book done, then it's like, okay, I'm building all these extras and add-ons, and that's so much fun, but they're kind of one and done. And then there's the music stuff where I was like, okay, I don't want to treat it as work. It's like I started that, like a year ago, and just kind of doing a little bit at a time when I'm inspired, as opposed to forcing it because I announced it's coming out October 6th. And it's like, oh, the deadline's coming. I got to get this done. I mean, that's not a luxury you always have and not everyone has, but, I'm trying to take advantage of that time while I have it in order to do this. So I'm already started on the next book. And then since we last talked, I'd finished another book that there will be crowdfunding through Monster Forge, and then there's after that I have another book with Titan that I have pitched to you guys a long time ago called Spectres. That was actually the first one out of all the comics I drew. So I got a lot of stuff coming up still, so which is nice. And then I got 2 more I'm contracted for. So
that's beautiful though, and it's fun to me to kind of see these release times, because it's like every time we have you on, we'll get a window of like the things that are cooking, and it's fun to see like a lot of the stuff like just like boom boom boom, it's all like coming to fruition, which is really cool to see.
But that's what happens. It rains, it pours, and it's all like pull my hair out, and then it's much like what I said after I made the Phantasm movie. It's like every day you're doing all this stuff, and every waking thought is that. And then one morning you wake up and it's like, wait, I have nothing due today. Like, I kind of don't know what to do with myself at that point. Like I start trembling. I'm like, what am I forgetting? What am I, and it's, I almost panic because then it's that startup time. What are you going to do next? What's your next project? Mm-hmm. And that's the scariest part, because what am I going to commit to? Because I know it'll take me time. And then again, that's where, as an artist, if you're always drawing and just sketching things, and try drawing a character from your book, and just keep doing that even before you start the pages, and make sure you fall in love with that design, or at least be willing to go back into your pages if you need to. I mean, fortunately I'm working all digital, so it's real easy to go back and change stuff. But, if I was doing traditional pages, there'd be a lot of whiteout. But I
love it. Keep no.
It's just I ramble because I get so passionate about this, but it's to me it's just like it's encompassed my life right now. Like comics were not something I always loved. I would always do little comics for myself, but I was able never to commit to getting a whole one done. If that means anything, like a 90-page story or anything like that, And I did some off of my own. Let me see if I even have him here. Well, I have this. I did this character name called Wright.
Cool.
And he's just, it's more of this kind of fun, but they travel through time because there's a monster going through time, and he's leaving monsters in all these different time periods. So when he comes back to normal, the world is already ruled for him because he's just ultimately lazy and just doesn't want to have to work for it. So he has other monsters do it. And this guy gets mixed up with a little kid and his turtle, which is a scientist trapped in a turtle body. It seems like a kid's story, but then I got cussing and gore in it. So, I didn't know what I was doing, but those are on Amazon. But I did 2 of those, and that was the first time I actually finished a story. And this is like in 90.
Yeah.
Those are from like 95, 97. Like they're really old. And but then I got an animation and all that, and comics were more of, I'd have fun drawing a page, like a fun page, but it's not really part of the story. It's just kind of a one-off, because I like the look of comic book pages, just the compositions and stuff. So then it wasn't actually until the pandemic hit that comic books became back into my life as far as drawing them. And I've found a whole new love for them again, both modern comics as well as the older comics. And then I got hooked on the whole Kickstarter crowdfunding, backing people's books, because again, it's that passion that we talked about with the B movie. So I actually have fun going through Kickstarter, finding books that I might like and backing them, and being a part of that system is a lot of fun, and plus you're seeing books that maybe Image, Dark Horse, whoever didn't feel like they were up to snuff for what they want, or maybe they were too absurd and niche to be a mass market book. But now these people can make the exact amount of books they need for the audience they have, as long as they hit their goal. And I don't know, I support that totally. I think that's so exciting.
Yeah, that is like a huge game changer in the world of like indie books, like just the ability to kind of crowdsource funds. It is a huge game changer, because you can have it more specialized for the reader, and also potentially find that like kind of niche audience and stuff, which is amazing. There's a bunch of stuff going in the chat, so I want to acknowledge some of these people. So Dylan was saying, I feel like movies and videos look too clean. I love a little grain. I think you're. My favorite thing, if I ever do, like there was a whole series of time where I used to do a lot of illustrations that were like B-movie posters. And that was like one of my favorite things, was adding those textures, or like really trying to get those authentic like halftones and stuff. That's like half the fun of it.
Again, because this is the one I'm proud of, because of exactly what you're talking about. So that one I showed, the 100-piece Abominations. The reason I'm proud of this is I spent forever trying to make it look like there's ink printed under the black, right? So
what are you using for that?
I am just, everything's done in Procreate. So I mean, it's just layers.
Really? Oh, okay.
But yeah, because as you can see, I'm trying to make it look like like how they used to do. They would just cut out the color and kind of lay it there.
Yeah.
And then you have black printed over it. But if your black wasn't full black, then it shows through.
Yeah.
I just love that look.
The way they used to, for anybody in the chats, the way they used to do that with like especially limited color printing, the color, if the production artist was doing their job, they would back the color with trapping on the edges. So when black printed over it, it would be a layer over it, but you wouldn't see where the color overlays. Problem is, they were busting these things out so fast that the production artists often wouldn't back their blacks. And so the black, like if they just did a square, you would see that like square of red behind it. It's like one of those printmaking kind of fun things. And by the way, if you print offset, even to this day, with 2 color and you don't back your blacks, you will see that. Like it still exists.
I will tell you, my whole book is probably filled with it because I intentionally kind of paint it painterly. So the black, a lot of it's backed, but a lot of it's the color of the temperature of the scene, if that makes sense. Get all artsy fartsy, but I go in as a cinematographer, you're thinking of the lighting. So the black is never solid black. There's always color in it. So I try to incorporate that in there. So I never back my blacks on any of these things.
Well, I mean, that's reasonable on like modern offset printing. It's usually not an issue. It's like those old printers where they were doing, a lot of plate printing without any ability to kind of like the capabilities are a lot better of printers. But I love that
black
stuff.
itself was never fully black to begin with, because by the time they got to the 1000th printing, they still weren't changing the ink. It's like, that's gonna be more gray than black. So
which is also a fun thing about the retro stuff.
It is.
Scott, were you gonna mention like Retro Supply Co by any chance, like the packs they sell and stuff?
So for like my wax packs, you can Retro Supply has a kit called Ink Champ that'll kind of give you that kind of matchbook printing style effect. Also, I think True Grit has similar products and stuff, but I would imagine they have one for Procreate, because they have a lot of Procreate stuff.
I ended up from, I think, Retro a while ago. I got like some halftones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That were a lot of fun, and
they specialize in
coloring. They're really catering to that aesthetic, which is really cool.
I love it. Mydrin says Humanoids from the Deep, Saturday the 14th, Night of the Creeps, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
All of those. Night of the Creeps is one of my favorites. Thrill Me. That's I love that movie, and Humanoids from the Deep also. That's a Roger Corman special. I love that film.
Dylan wanted to ask how you manage with all these projects at once.
Oh, that's the hard part. One, I think I'm really got something wrong up here where I'm very scatterbrained and have multiple things happening at once. But honestly, it's really I have multiple things at once. I've been fortunate in my career with animation and doing storyboarding and stuff like that. You're kind of forced to switch gears really quickly. You know, you might be on one show and you're really storyboarding and figuring something out, and they're like, hey, we need your help today on this other show, and you just jump in and you gotta hit the ground running, right? And that kind of forces you to think quicker, to be able to switch gears quicker. And again, a lot of the projects I'm working on, which I've been very fortunate at this stage in life, that I'm able to work on things I want to work on. And I have a passion for every single one of those things. So it's much easier to switch gears. Back in the day when it's like, oh God, I got this Polly Pockets thing I got to do. You know, that's not my thing, but I had to do some stuff for it, right? Like that was maybe pulling teeth a little more in that, you know, I'm going to go work on my comics and stuff, but I need to focus on that. And there was one day I was talking to some friends and we were just having fun because we were trying to find like the worst comic characters we thought, and then try to make our versions of them to make them cool, you know? And I had like Chlorophyll Lad or something like that. And
that's great.
And it was just trying to make them cool. And I actually had so much fun doing it. It's like, why aren't I applying that to everything I do? Try to make the cool, what I think is cool about it and stuff. And again, finding that makes you want to work on these individual projects, at least to experiment. But, you know, as far as doing several books at once, this has been a real challenge for me because I do have like 3 books going on at once. Luckily, 2 of those I didn't write. You know, my buddy Shannon Eric Denton, who we had on a previous show, he's written them. So that takes some of the strain off of me. But I it's hard to explain that. It's just, you know, it's like one day you wake up, you're in the mood for Star Wars. The next day you wake up, you're in the mood for the Wild Bunch or the Man with No Name series or something like that. Like, you know, you can switch between projects based on your moods. It's just, you know, you still have to get the project done. That's the hard part, right? And managing your time. But again, working in animation, it's kind of taught you how to time manage a little bit. And there's also the let go factor, which we've talked about before, which is knowing when to just let go and move on to the next thing. And I've realized, you know, I can always go back into a piece if I have to, but I would much rather have an entire thing to show a client than one thing that looks fantastic, but they have no idea when they're going to get the rest. Right. And I'd rather give them something and then have time to go back in and raise the whole thing up to a certain level. It may never be, you know, the ultimate thing you want it to be, but you know, unfortunately, if we want to make books and put things out, you don't always get that time, you know. And the great books that we've loved, you know, they're awesome, but they probably took a really long time to get done. You know. And,
for sure.
You know, so for me, it's the storyboarding side. I just like to draw fast and I like to tell stories more than I want to show off my art skills or anything, if that makes sense. I'm doing these books strictly to tell these fun stories and weird visuals.
I can definitely, like, the thing that's neat though is you found kind of a style that works with the timeline, you know, very well. And so it's like I think there's a you know, there's kind of like copping out on pages if in a bad way, and then there's intentionally committing to a style that's a little quicker and looser. And I think like it's pretty clear with you. You're not pulling punches on any pages. Like you're definitely doing, these beautiful pages. They look very good, but you've also found a style that kind of you're able to like execute, quickly, which I think is like that's kind of the happy medium. I think most
the funny
cartoonists
part.
are searching for, right?
I wasn't even looking for a style. It's like there was a time where I much like probably many artists, it's like you're trying to find your voice. Who am I? What am I drawing? Why am I drawing it? And I went through tons of that. I was doing the full hey, this is how Image wants me to draw if I'm going to get into comic books. If I want to do Youngblood and Wildcats and all these kind of books, this is how I got to draw. And then you see McFarlane stuff, and it's like, whoa, he's kind of not doing that. He's doing his own thing. And, that got me inspired. And then, but just, it was one day I was just like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just drawing, and I enjoyed drawing my pencils that I would do the roughs, and then I would hate my art when I started to try and tighten those pencils up for an inker, right? Because then I felt like I'm inking, but I'm inking with a pencil, and then I'm letting someone else just trace over that. And I don't know, I've lost love with comics and the whole process and all that at the time. And this is like, even into the early 2000s. And then it wasn't till I just, again, maybe animation has helped that, because you got to draw fast, and it's like, be able to draw different styles, and then you just kind of pick up things as you go. But once I kind of stopped caring what my art looked like, then I think it just kind of found its own voice, I guess. And I don't even think about it. I just, whatever comes out comes out.
No, I love that. I think there's something to that, because I do think I had a period myself, like where early art of mine was like trying to kind of mimic stuff that I felt like, you kind of had to get to.
Yeah,
and
one of the things what editors wanted to see to get a job in comics. You have to draw this way.
Yeah, and one of the things I've been enjoying about, like I think it started in my like mid 30s, and then it's kind of continued decades later, but it's like I really like that period of time where I finally hit the age where I really don't care. Like I kind of am who I am art wise, and I'll make it the best I can, but like I'm gonna work the way I work. Like that's just kind of who I am as an artist. I think that, and I'm okay with that.
Comes with time. It comes with having a career when you're, maybe it's at a time when you start feeling comfortable with your career and you have less to lose. I don't know, but I always tell, young people, and my daughter included, it's like, don't get so hung up on style. Learn your fundamentals first. Style comes with time. And I had a teacher tell me that once. It's like, I had a class in college. It was called techniques class. And let me tell you, people told me to never use color, that I suck at it. And I'm not exaggerating. They said, don't ever touch color because you just don't get it. Right. And
really?
And then my technique.
That's like one of your strongest like areas.
One day color. It just clicked. One day everything just kind of, it was Tetris in here. And then all of a sudden the pieces kind of fell into place, and it made kind of sense one day. It just kind of clicked. And then and again, that came with computers and digital, because I was willing to take risks. I wasn't willing to take a risk on an oil painting that I just spent 5 hours crafting this face and then put a glaze over the whole thing. No, I'm not doing that. That could ruin the whole thing. But with digital, I could try that. And I was able to experiment with color. And then all of a sudden I started thinking of more like how I would light a film. And then it's like, oh, okay, now stuff's making more sense. But, I had this techniques class, and I'm very heavy-handed. I couldn't draw a straight line. We had to use like this compass that you would put gouache in. It was really weird contraption, and drawing with gouache. And I'm just like, honestly, I kind of hate paint, because I'm a neat freak in a way, and I didn't want it was too messy. And it was just, this techniques class was basically like, I had a teacher tell me, he's like, look, your ideas are good, your drawings are solid. Technique comes with time. So it's more important that you got these fundamentals down first. The other stuff is just going to build on top of that. And that actually hit me pretty hard. You know, when I was younger, I was like, that gave me the confidence that, hey, in time, I'll figure out how to use these tools, how to use a paintbrush, all that stuff. I wasn't going to let that get me down, because really, you know, you could see someone getting so flustered with that they just want to, you know, give up altogether. And you know, that's tough. So that gave me a lot of hope. So I do recommend that for everyone too. It's like, don't get hung up on style. It's okay to have style and to know you want a certain style. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying don't do that, but it's just, don't let that stop you from achieving your goals because you feel like it doesn't look like someone else's, or it doesn't fit what the mainstream says is cool, you know. And I think there's more and more artists. We're seeing so many more superhero comics that are not the classic John Byrne style or Sal Buscema or any of the stuff we grew up with. There's cartoony artists, there's manga artists, there's tons of artists are now even on these mainstream books. And again, that's kind of an exciting time, I think, within comics. I know there's a lot of comics is not what it used to be, you're not as lucrative or whatever, but I do think its doors are open to more types of artists more than it ever has been. And that's exciting.
Yeah, I think comics and music are in a similar place where it used to be that there was like the mega band that made it, you know, and you see that less and less now, where now it's like a lot more small successes. And they're not like hitting these monumental levels where all these bands are driving and like flying in private jets, you know?
Right.
But now it's like any genre of music, there's kind of a possibility for a band to actually possibly make a career at it. Cause there's like little subsects of followers everywhere who like, if they specifically like Norwegian death metal, they can find Norwegian death metal, like, you know, and then they can even subdivide from that, you know. And I see that a lot with comics right now too, where what kind of turned me off of comics like late 90s was when I kind of lost interest in a lot of mainstream, and the only comics I was really into was like super indie stuff. But what's been fun is like realizing I've been missing out on a lot of superhero stuff recently, because anytime I go to the comic shop now, it's like, it's just like, it looks like the indie section.
Right.
And that's so cool, you know, like to see even like a Batman book or something where it looks like like they hired an indie guy with their own style.
I buy lots of superhero books now. I said I didn't when I was a kid, but I do now as an adult. And just an artist, just finding an artist you like is enough to get you hooked into wanting to read the book, right? And
it's so cool.
Writer you like, and then you're like, you know, then you're hooked.
Yeah, for sure. And so it's like, I think that's one of the fun things about comics today is like that. Yeah, you're right. There's a whole variety of styles and approaches. You know, and I think things like Jeff Smith's Bone helped kind of break some of that. Like there's a lot of little monumental moments where it kind of helped break just the kind of almost like monopoly on style.
Well, and I think it showed publishers too. It didn't just have to be DC and Marvel books that could make money, right? There was other genres and other styles that could still hook people.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to like the bookstore now, and it's like, man, the young adult section graphic novels. You know, that it's huge.
Oh, it's so cool
huge.
too.
I buy them. I love them too. They're fun to read. You know, and I think that's
I defend Dogman to almost anyone because my son loved those books, and that was the first comics I could get him into. And reading those, I started realizing like the style and the writing in those is so sharp. I can see why it's so successful because it's hilarious and like the style's so free. And I don't know. There are so many, but I just mentioned that one because it gets clowned on by cartoonists sometimes. I think unfairly, because those are great books. But yeah, the thing you were saying about style is really good too, because when you're trying to learn fundamentals, sometimes the style thing can be a block to actually learning the fundamental, like, because you're like, but that's not my style. And it's like, no, like, learn how to draw from life, like learn how to, like, how to basically draw by shape and how to control line. Because like when you do that, like what David was saying about beautiful mistakes, you're going to make mistakes that you will continue to make for the rest of your life. And those mistakes will end up being called your style. Like, it's like, yeah. So, I love that idea of like, just don't worry about it. Like, worry about the fundamentals and the style will come. That's great advice. Because,
and if you're doing indie comics, you most likely you have a story to tell. And that should come even before your style, before your technique, don't stop yourself from telling your story because you're worried about your technique or your style. Like for me, it's like, okay, just go full circle. These B movies, and the Grindhouse films, like I love them. I still watch them with the grain and stuff. I saw there was a couple, re-releases, and they re-release them on Blu-ray, like something like Escape from New York. I grew up with that film on VHS and on TV. I see the cleanup version. I appreciate it. I love it. But in my head, I was like, where's all the grain? Like I loved all that grain. That was part of that. It hid things. It was dark. And now I could see some matte lines around things and stuff. And it's like, I didn't need that. I kind of go back to the grainy versions of things. That's kind of the same way. It's forgiving, right? If the story's there, we forgive sometimes these bad pictures, the flaws in the filmmaking, a rubber suit where you see the seam, but we could still get into the stories and have fun with it, and that's because of the stories mostly. So for sure. The same goes with comics to a certain extent. Of course, the slicker and the better it looks, the more likely people are going to pick it up in the first place. That's the judge a book by its cover. But, the keeping them there, I think is some of that. Of course, I say all that, and then my thing's about, an island full of stitched together. It's not rocket science here. So,
but that's the cool thing though, because like I think for you that is a really like personal expression, because it's something you sincerely love, and so you're really just seeing the thing through. And I do think that's good advice too, with the don't let it hold you back from telling your story, because like I can think of a lot of stories like comics that I absolutely love that on like technically are not well drawn, like Clumsy by Jeffrey Brown. It's like a little diary that is, and at the time, like he wasn't drawing excellently. I don't think he would have even said that. He got better as an artist as he continued, but that's still to this day my favorite book by him, even though he's gotten more technically better. Awesome. Because it's just a raw book that had to happen, or I think of like the Stooges, like if the Stooges is held off till they learned guitar, that's like, and now people listen to the Stooges to learn guitar. So it's like, I don't know, like you gotta kind of tell your story, get the thing. Drink the paint water. Said
passion, Josh. It's always it's that passion. If you take it seriously, you're putting your all into it, and you're just giving it. There's going to be people that respect that. There's going to be people that live for that. And if the creator isn't passionate about his own project, it's not going to come through, and you can't expect the audience to be passionate more than you are.
I mean, no one would like Troll 2 if it didn't seem like they were really trying to make. Like it doesn't seem like they're like I've watched that so many times. It's such a good one. But they really are trying. The actors are really trying. Like everybody's in it, and that's what's great about that. Like you kind of can't fake that. So you got to do the authenticity thing. And even if it's even if it's a missed shot, years later, it might develop like a whole cult following because there's that passion there, know?
There is. And it comes through.
I love it. Isle of Evil. We gotta talk about it because we got about 10 minutes left to
All
go.
right.
So,
All right.
Isle of Evil. Let's kind of. Oh, one question about it. Was there a bit of Gilligan's Island in the premise here? Just because I
a
noticed,
little bit.
I don't know.
There is, and it's funny you say that, because as I was drawing some of this, me and my daughter and my wife, I know that's Gilligan's Island and The Munsters are two shows we constantly go back to and watch all of them at least once a year, right? So we're constantly watching them. There's just a simplicity to it. You can turn your brain off and you can just sit there and draw. And if you miss something, you're not really, penalized for it. so there's definitely that vibe. There's the Swiss Family Robinson. I think I did a video, right, for the Kickstarter that's in there, and I kind of explained the references for this, at least the ones that I was pulling from. Was this movie called Dr. Butcher, MD.
Yes.
And there was The Horrors of Spider Island, which is just a really fun 1950s flick. And then, but it's got some Reanimator in it and some zombie, Lucio Fulci zombie, the jungle horror, Cannibal Holocaust, all those kind of things are tied in. But for me, it's kind of like, I want to see stitched together Frankensteins. If you can't tell, that's what I love to draw, so there's going to be a lot of that. But then there's voodoo, there's magic, and then there's science. And it kind of, in my weird way, is like how the old traditional ways and the new ways are kind of fighting, and they're fighting out on an island, and these people are kind of caught in the middle of these two wackos, trying to take over this island. And it's just kind of again, it's goofy, but to me it's not tongue-in-cheek. I'm doing as serious as I can. I want, the characters are treating it seriously. It's just an absurd situation that they're trapped in. And so there's fun, there's camp, there's some goofy dialogue and stuff, but again, it's not to make fun of those films, it's to honor them. And again, I wish I could make some of those films. And it's like, this is what I wanted to do. And I was like, I know I'm never going to get to make this kind of film. So what's the next best thing? I know how to draw. So let's make a comic of it. Right. So, and then that's where
I love it so much.
Driving came in.
Yeah. I think that, the beauty of your books too is like, I mean, your creature design, your monsters are just so wonderful. Like, and
thank you.
The approach is like where you'll make just some subtle choices in like the way you're kind of distorting like a jaw, or like where you decide to have like tiny eyes, or there's a certain panel that is on here where it's like a brain like spitting spitting blood.
Eyes, it's
and
the
it's
brain
just
and eyes, like its whole skull has been ripped away. But I think let's see, it's up.
It's so good here. I'm trying to I can't zoom in, but yeah, there's we'll get better at this OBS thing as well. But yeah, you guys should check this out. I mean, the character designs alone are just
There's
so
the brain guy at the bottom there.
Yeah. He's so great. The character designs alone on this are just excellent. So I think if you guys like, like Scott's Wacky Packs, and you like old, vintage aesthetics, mixed with like newer, like, really solid, like creature art and horror. I mean, this is just like a no-brainer. Like, you guys should support this for sure. And I think we're almost unlocking. It looks like you're pretty close to unlocking that stretch goal of the paper masks. So we got to get there. Selfishly, I want people to back this because I want a paper mask.
Well, and I think we're like 10 or 11 days in, so we're not at the halfway point yet. So
that's so good.
There's still hope. And but again, I just for those who have supported, including you guys, I just want to thank you all so much, because this has been a dream of mine to make these kind of things. And it's just, I can't tell you how rewarding it is to see other people who are having fun with you doing this stuff. Again, it's like drawing with your friends and getting to say, oh, look what I drew this week. And it's like, oh, fun. Now look what I drew. And I like that community within comics. I like, and within indie art and all that kind of stuff. And again, I thank you, everybody, because I really do appreciate it. And, you know, I'm going to keep them going as long as I can and just keep having fun with this stuff, because I'm already excited, like I said, for at least 2 more books that are written, and then hopefully 2 more after that, if I can keep it going. Even if I can't keep them going, I'm still going to make them. So
it's inspiring, and I think the great thing about the community of creatives is you know, there's like kind of a divide in the world, I think, between people who like to kind of consume, and we like those people because they buy our stuff, and that's great, you know. But also people who want to make stuff and like tell stories that are new and are driven to do that for some reason. Maybe all of us are really neurodivergent and weird, you know. But there's something beautiful about that community, because there's a positivity about it. And I think people maybe outside of like horror might be surprised to hear that it exists in horror, like more than almost anything. Like some of the sweetest people I meet are like some of the sweetest people you'll ever meet are death metal band members and horror fanatics.
Like I always say, that genre, people get their demons out, whether it's on music, books, comics, movies, whatever. You get your negativity out, and then we're all longing for that friendship and like-minded people, you know. And you know, we get all our stuff out, all our garbage is out there, so it's all on the screen.
But I absolutely love it, and I think that Drink the Paint Water said I just backed it and ordered an additional copy for my coworker. And I will say
thank you so much,
David. Just the fact that, you know, I can tell like the love you have into this, like just from those proofs you've shown too, you're not skimping on like the printer, like the paper quality. It's all like beautiful. So I think that's something to kind of
myself and sit proudly amongst all my other books, and you know, maybe even stand out if I can make it, you know. And that's where I get excited with all these little extras, because that was something I didn't really think about it with crowdfunding until I really got deep and started doing research on Kickstarter and how to do it and all that. And then I'm like, oh, this is gonna be the fun part, right? Coming up with a kind of weird, like a brochure, as though it's you know, this augmented
let me go back to that brochure.
It's just that kind of
that brochure is brilliant.
That's the fun.
But I love it because it all furthers and it all furthers the kind of the escape of the story. You can get more kind of involved in it by having these extra reward tiers. Like, I mean, a brochure, that's great. That just kind of pulls you more into that world. And also just how fun is that? Like, I mean, look at this, Captain Pickles Boat Tours. And by the way, Captain Pickles might be one of my favorite names for a character.
Well, the actor that
did you really know a guy named Pickles?
Yeah, Pickles is a real name. Yeah, I think I had a teacher or it was a kid in school, but Pickles was the last name. I wish his first name was
wild.
Dale Pickles.
Dill would have been.
So it's not
Dill or Bill would work really nice.
Yeah, the actor that plays Captain Pickles, I named him Brick Johnson, and he's kind of like, as you can see there, the Bruce Campbell-y type, you know, with a Freddie Mercury mustache, and he's all cool. And you know, he might appear in some other books as Brick Johnson as another character. You know, I kind of want to build a little universe of these characters too, and the actors that have played these characters, and there's you know, history with them as well. So it's like a story within a story.
I love it so much. You've got like, there's bookmarks, guys. There's like an Isle of Evil mini print set.
Yeah, the mini prints is cool because you put them together and it just makes one big piece that has all the characters in this in one big image.
I love it. There's a groovy sticker pack, which I find hilarious and amazing.
Scroll down to that. That I have to show because this one Scott might even like get into if you go down. So I made 2 sticker
Jungle
packs.
Girls Do It in the Wild, and you got Hang Loose with a zombie character with eyes hanging loose out of his head.
He's hanging loose.
So we got Shrunken Heads. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the It's So Sexy, which is. It's in the book. The girls are listening to this song as they're dancing, and it just says "It's so sexy, sexy." And I did it as a joke, but my daughter and wife were laughing so much, I made it a sticker. And then I said, "What the heck? I'm going to make that song." So that song's on the album.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, and then just Shrunken Heads.
Has the original art been claimed yet?
No. And I need to push that.
That
stuff.
needs to get claimed.
I'm surprised the original art hasn't gone as much as I had hoped it would, surprisingly. Like the sketch cards are doing okay. And then I have if you get the higher end, you get a 9x12 monster head. I wish I had them right here with me, but I'm doing full inks and some red because I gotta have blood and stuff on there. But that piece,
some beautiful stuff.
I have a video of me drawing that entire thing. So I need to cut it together and put it out there, showing the making.
Yeah, that's just beautiful. I'm sure
I just put it on as
an
add-on, so I don't know if that was the right way to do that stuff or not. I'm learning, but that's where if anyone's interested.
I would imagine there's got to be somebody sitting back, kind of like checking to see if they can make it happen, because that's just a beautiful piece.
Thank you. Yeah, that was the print for the first stretch goal. So everyone gets the print, or no?
Look at this, guys.
The print was separate, but the sticker everyone gets.
And the thing I love about this too is just the sheer joy with which
which I never do. Right? It's digital. I'm a digital artist now. I call myself. So when I do traditional, it's just to me that's like almost out of my comfort zone again. Going back to ink and stuff. Like, it's been so long where I'm like, oh, am I gonna screw this up? But I was happily surprised.
Yeah, it's beautifully executed, and it's like your instructor was saying, it's like the technique, you got your fundamentals, and the other stuff comes later, because here I'm definitely seeing it's like your inks look exactly like your digital inks. It's the same style. It's reading through. Beautiful work. You guys, this is so fun. And the other thing is these add-ons, you can see from David's excitement about them. It's he's happy to add this stuff, help him get there so we can add more fun stuff, because it's gonna be good because the passion's there and the talent's there. So and I'm excited about the Zorgon album.
These things, much like Scott would do and stuff. It's all hand packaged and lovingly put together, by me and my family. We're gonna package all these ourselves.
It looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it also looks like just a really engrossing, fun story. And so I'm excited about that. David, thank you so much for hopping on here and talking to us again about art and stuff. It's always fun. Is there anything, Scott, we didn't get to that you wanted to ask on David or anything like that? Or
no, I'm just, I've backed the project and I'm excited. Well, I guess this is selfishly a question that I want to know, and I'm sure I could probably find this from the Kickstarter if I read it, but when are you thinking of shipping this thing? Ideally,
the perfect world, and what I've been saying on there is, I would love to have them out in November, October.
So you're
perfect world.
Yeah, right.
World.
Right.
That all
but this
depends
is
on how many books,
right?
Printing, how long that takes, all that.
Right.
But my goal is before the end of the year. Is my big thing. That's what I'm striving for.
That's great. And even if it's a little later than that, it just I'm always down for Kickstarters that don't take a year or more.
Yeah. No, and that's what I was saying. I didn't even want to do a Kickstarter until the book is at least 99% there, right? There's some things I need to go and typos and things like that I need to fix, or a couple lines here and there, but the book is pretty much done. It's laid out. Like I said, there's a proof been made, so there shouldn't be any holdup, at least on my end. It would, again, who knows in this day and age, we got all these weird tariffs and all kinds of stuff.
I was going to ask about that, like if that was going to affect printing, but I guess we'll find out.
No, I'm doing mostly everything here within the US,
nice
printing wise. And, even with this, I wasn't even going to have any international sales. It was just going to be all domestic because of all these outrageous shipping costs here in the US. But I did release an international tier, which unfortunately it costs more, right? Like shipping is just crazy to go overseas. So I tried to throw in most of the extras at like my cost, basically.
That's what I always do. Like for international, like I'll either put it makes sense to make an international tier. Like I've done like international. If you order internationally, you get a bunch of extras because prints really don't cost that much to make, but they have value. So if you add extra prints, you can offset that whatever they're paying. You can make a $50 value print pack that goes along with an international order. So if they're paying $50 extra for shipping, they get $50. So it's almost like, they're getting something extra. So
and that's smart too, because it's not going to add a ton to the weight of the package.
Right. Yeah, that's the other thing. Is it doesn't
adds
add
a ton of value for the.
It can all fit in one
person.
package. And, it's not like we're offering. That's why I always wondered on Kickstarter when I see people offering figurines and stuff like that. I'm kind of like,
I know people that do that
shipping issue, right? Like
for me, and I even take it a step further, where if it's not something that's like paper, where I can send as media mail, you can save a lot of money that way too. If it's not, and my prints are the size of a comic, so I can put them in a comic mailer. So, obviously it's going to be different with my next Kickstarter, but because it's a different product.
That's an exciting Kickstarter though.
Because the hardcover is going to have special shipping, right? Like the normal book, I can do it in a Gemini mailer. But with this, I'm actually going to have a box and other stuff because it's a much different size. So
And as a big fan of books, and particularly hardcover books, I will say, if you guys are backing it, you should back the hardcover. You don't have to, but I'm just saying my own personal opinion.
That's
going to be beautiful.
I made them different sizes as well. Too. So, and there are packages where you actually get both. So, where some people want to have one, put it on the shelf, and the other one to tear up.
I mean, for your first Kickstarter, you really did a bang up job. Just in the way the campaign's laid out and everything.
Design.
It might have, like you were talking about before, it might have made sense to have an original art tier. Because I was going to say, not everyone scrolls down, but then again, you're usually prompted to add on extras too when you're checking out. So you may get that later on because you can always add on. So you can still.
That's true. I could always add on additional sketch cards and stuff because I had a finite amount printed. Because I do want to have a limited amount, and then whatever, if there's left, I can make those add-ons. It's a good idea.
I love it. And
I was going to say, you can still promote those add-ons, as you go. Like you could put out a newsletter or something saying,
that's what I plan on doing. And then, luckily I had some celebs back it and stuff too, which was helpful.
There's a great quote you got from let's see, Gris Grimley, who's a member of the NCS, Grindhouse. The world begins to mind a slew of forbidden imagery, a dumpster of, actually this is a great line, a dumpster of cinematic depravity that was once viewed through the concealing fingers of delinquent youth looking to satisfy their desires of horror, violence, sleaze, and monstrosities. That's a great quote.
Yeah. Chris is awesome.
And then we got Rob Zombie. I mean, the monster driving is everything you need in a world of nonstop generic superhero nonsense. This will melt your dying brain with monstrific mental madness. Yes.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you, Rob.
Yeah, these are beautiful. So definitely check out the Kickstarter. The link is in the description below. David's making great art, and we want to see it continue. So
Thank you guys. I
of course,
appreciate
support
all
the indie stuff, guys. It's beautiful. David, I'm excited about it. I'm happy that you said, because I felt kind of bad that the main reason I want it is the fake ads. Like, I want the story,
dude,
but I'm so excited about the
that's
fake
also
ads.
why they're in there, like that's just so much fun for me.
Yeah,
I've already made,
and that's a passion of mine. Like, I collect those.
Yeah,
I have like a whole bin of just old fake ads and awesome. From comics and stuff. So it's just like an obsession.
If I get enough of these, I can just compile them all and make one book of just the ads. That would be fun.
Oh man, but I'm really excited about the story too, and just the casting and stuff just looks incredible, and the monsters look fun. It just looks like a blast. So I'm the fun thing about this genre is it makes you kind of excited like a kid to kind of read. I don't know, like for me, it makes me kid excited, so cool. Yeah. Dylan was saying I want the story and the fake ads. Yeah. But yeah, David, your work's incredible. It's always fun to have you on, and insightful, and the passion always like comes through. So thanks for coming on. Is there anywhere people can check out your work? I mean, we have the link to the Kickstarter down here. Where should they go, if they want to see other stuff, or just maybe see a bit about you?
David Hartman Art at Instagram. SideshowMonkey.com is my website. If you want to hear my music, it's under the name Zorgon, which is on most streaming platforms. I think I had done 5 albums. I think this might be the 6th album. So there's a lot to listen to there. And I have plenty of TV shows on right now. Arc, the animated series, and I think we had talked about Twilight of the Gods, which is still on Netflix. So
yeah, beautiful work on that too.
Yeah, thank you. So those were 2 I directed on, and yeah, got a lot more fun stuff coming up. I just can't talk about it yet.
Yeah, and I love talking to David, because like every time I talk to him, I find out a new thing that I like that he was a part of, or that my son's really into, because my son was really into the Jurassic Park show on Netflix. I didn't know you had a piece of that,
Just on the first episode, I did some storyboards on the first episode, helping out.
But even that's amazing, because it's like my son was getting really into it. And I think I mentioned it. And you're like, yeah, it was, I worked on, and it's always, or like Bubba Hotep, like these little, like something I was really obsessed with in high school. I was so obsessed with Bubba Hotep.
Awesome.
That the fact that you had a piece in that is just kind of that's really cool.
It kind of blows my mind these days too, because I'm such a fan of these kind of things. So oh wait, I worked on that. That's so cool.
But yeah, so you guys should check it out. Check out David's stuff, because he's incredible. He's doing a lot of great work in animation and stuff like that. So go to those links. So you're on my channel. If you haven't yet, hit subscribe, hit the bell, so you get notifications where we're going to go live after you've backed Monster Drive-In, because I want more extras, guys. Come on. But if you are in the mood for something a little more in the kind of slice of life or auto bio world, check out 2 Stories. It's a comic about faith and mental illness, destigmatizing hard conversations about suicide and panic disorder, some really heavy topics. And then also it's all hand drawn, hand lettered, hand inked, and hopefully handed to you in print. And then check out Jacob's Apartment, which is a young love story that is available at bookstores everywhere. And then also, if it's up for pre-order still, check out Not Death But Love, the strange supernatural story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning. It's got spiritualism, and it's a historical retelling of Elizabeth Barrett Browning, the famous poet, falling into seances and getting manipulated by a lady who is conjuring the dead and threatens the marriage of Robert and Elizabeth. So I'll have a better pitch line as we're closer to release. Scott, where can everybody find your stuff? And where can they, speaking of like fake ads and cool like halftones and stuff, if people want to get a hold of some authentic looking wax packs with gum included, where should they go? And then lastly, after that, how do they keep track of this crazy train, the Artcasters?
Yeah, so all that stuff can be found at my website. You can find my comic book, Young and the Dead, Kids vs. Zombie Adventure Story, the aforementioned wax packs, basically not all, but eventually all, hopefully, all the wax packs that they didn't make that you wish they did from back in the day, wax pack trading cards with the bubble gum, wax wrappers, all that stuff. Totally have that retro feel. I take pride in the fact that if you didn't know better, you couldn't tell them from the real thing. So those are all available at my website at circworks.com. In addition to that, this show, The Artcasters, we do this show every single week. And you can find but it does switch back and forth between Josh's channel, my own channel. That gets a little confusing, but if you want to not be confused, then it's real simple. You just join our mailing list. We don't spam or anything. What that'll do is about 30 minutes before we go live, it'll tell you whose channel it's on, who the guest is going to be, and all that stuff. Or if we happen to like skip an episode or move an episode, you'll be alerted to that stuff as well. So it's just a good thing to join that. There's a link in the description for that. Also, one more time, just a little in advance, on the 20th of this month, I will be doing Batman Day at my local comic book store. I'll be there signing, and I've got an exclusive print and everything. So if you happen to be in Arizona, make your way out to Surprise. Come see me on September 20th for Batman Day, and I'm doing sketches and all that cool stuff. So yeah, that's about it.
I love it. Back the book, guys. Thanks again to everybody in the chats. It was a lively one tonight, and thanks again to David. And let me double check how we stopped this. Okay, now I know. Thanks, David, too, for being kind of the inaugural guest on our new format.
Love being a guinea pig. This was great.
Yeah, we're pretty well. I'm
glad it
happy.
worked out.
Scott and I were nervous. The graphics are awesome.
It wasn't without its trials and tribulations. I can tell you that we had a lot of issues, but I think we got it up and working.
Awesome.
Okay, so we will see you guys next week. And if you guys have comments on the new format and stuff, let us know. We love hearing what you think of it. I hope it went smooth for you guys. And we will see you on the next Artcasters next week. Goodbye.